we're going to turn to my co-host, Matt Dillahunty, who today will be talking to you about Scientology.
Yeah, Scientology. So Tom Cruise has been in the news a lot lately, and you know, what with getting engaged to Katie Holmes, but he's also been accused of acting a bit crazy. Went on Matt Lauer and chewed him out, saying that, you know, you don't know psychology or psychiatry, I know psychiatry, and talking about Scientology. Not a lot of people actually know a whole lot about the inner workings of Scientology, or what this is all about.
I bet it's less than those who know about psychiatry.
It may be.
And I bet people who know about psychiatry know a lot more than Tom Cruise.
You would probably, I would agree. There's a lot of celebrities who are Scientologists. You know, in addition to Tom Cruise, you've got Kirstie Alley and John Travolta and a number of others, and they put usually a very good public face on Scientology.
I have to say one thing surprisingly in favor of Michael Jackson, which is he married Lisa Marie Presley, and she was a Scientologist, and he split without becoming one himself. So, you know, then there was the whole molesting children thing, but
well, you know, if you're a Jehovah's Witness,
declared innocent, so never mind.
If you're a Jehovah's Witness, you know Scientology isn't for you, and of course Michael is, or was, a Jehovah's Witness.
Never mind saying good things.
Scientology does say that they're compatible with a number of other religions, although the truth of that's kind of a little different as you get into it. But I'm here today to talk a little bit about Scientology, save you possibly some time, and as much as $300,000 to $500,000, which is the bill that you would get over time to work your way up through the Scientology courses. It was created by L. Ron Hubbard in the early to mid-50s. He claimed to have discovered Dianetics, a process of cleansing the mind and discovering reality. He was a science fiction author who occasionally would talk about how if he really wanted to make money, what he would do is create a religion. And by a strange coincidence, he seems to have done just that. Dianetics is a process of treating what they call the reactive mind, which is evidently that part of your mind which reacts to things. And it's supposed to be a bridge to total freedom, where you proceed up through levels to a point where you are completely clear of your reactive mind. And the levels start off with stuff. We had a caller not too long ago who had you and Karen stare into each other's eyes for a while in order to find God. And Scientology starts off very similarly. The TR0, there's a little confusion as to what exactly is involved, because Scientology keeps all of this very, very secret. Although, you know, the advent of the internet has kind of caught them by surprise, and it's all available now.
Can you tell me what the point was of having us stare into each other's eyes? I mean, assuming that guy was a Scientologist.
I don't think he was.
That thing?
I don't think he was. I think he was using, you know, something similar. You know, maintaining eye contact is hard for some people to do, and there's, you know, there's a lot of psychology and psychiatry involved in how things work, but
yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to do, because you have to balance the idea of making eye contact with the fact that's drummed into our heads that it's rude to stare.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know for sure that he was doing or beginning with an exercise.
What would be the point if a Scientologist was telling me to do it?
In Scientology, the first level, you end up just staring at another person, sometimes for hours. And if you move or blink, you have to start over. Now, if you sit and stare at one spot or one person for hours without blinking, that tends to promote hallucinations, odd feelings. Your eyes, you know, begin to water because, you know, you're not blinking to constantly, you know, spread the fluid around, and you see things and you feel things, and it's a perfectly normal response of the brain, but it's also a typical method of, you know, certain brainwashing type exercises, where the resulting feeling and what you see and experience is proclaimed to be something greater than what we believe it to be. It's, you know, most people would look at it and say this is just the way the mind works, and, you know, as if I, you know, took a hallucinogenic drug or stared at one point for a long time until I became dizzy, I'm going to start seeing things. And but Scientologists, along with other religions that use similar things, try to proclaim this as some inner truth, as if, you know, we're sure that you're reaching into a new level of and learning things. The next segment is exactly the same. It's called TR0 bull bait. And while you're staring and unable to move and not allowed to blink, the person you're staring at is allowed to get up in your face and yell and scream and call you names and try and break your concentration, and yet you have to keep your focus. The whole process continues, and there's a number of steps up, and after doing exercises, you have to go in and get audited, which they use a device called an e-meter, which is like 2 soup cans with electrodes connected to a little voltage meter type thing, and you hold the soup cans, and an auditor asks you questions, you know, how do you feel? Have you ever been mean? You know, silly little things, and as your needle floats around the dial, they write things down.
What does E stand for?
Electropsychographic, I don't know.
Sorry.
It's like many Scientologists have a whole bunch of terms that they either made up themselves or perverted the meanings of and shortened them into little acronyms. Like, I would be listed as an SP, which is a suppressive person, because I'm speaking against Scientology. So that's their little code lingo on the inside. But the e-meter is the technology that they use to justify this as a science. I guess that's where they get the science part of Scientology. You keep doing this over and over again, spending more money until you get to a point where you're declared clear, that you're clear from your reactive mind. And then you move on to the higher levels, which are called OT levels, and there's 8 of them. And OT stands for operating thetan, or thetan, depending on, I don't know, I would imagine it's thetan, because thetan sounds a lot like Satan, and well, that kind of throws him a curveball. But the OT levels, you are building up to OT3. And OT3 is where you start to learn the super secret truths of Scientology, and that's where you're told the story of Xenu. Now, I'll get back to Xenu in a moment, but after you've learned the story about Xenu, you continue up through the OT levels to OT8, and that used to be the end of it. But they've since added new L levels, I guess, at the top. I don't want to say that they're doing this just to have a way to bring in more money to those people who have finished the program, but that's kind of the way this thing goes. It's a method of bringing in money, and L. Ron Hubbard said it on more than one occasion. There's even a Church of Scientology directive where, and I won't quote this exactly, but it's make more money, train more people so that they can make more money. Scientology, by the way, has been banned from Greece and Germany and a number of other places as being a harmful money-making scheme and not actually a religion. But I mentioned that at the OT3 level, you learn about Xenu. So in order to get as much of it right as possible, the actual documents are available on the net, or photo scans of what L. Ron Hubbard wrote. This is actually a pamphlet from clambake.org.